So we're Books Are My Fandom, codenamed BAMF, and we are three international book-obsessed ladies. I like saying that. We love young adult fantasy, sci-fi, contemporary, and so on. And today's video is going to be on a sort of mishmash genre, The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry. Yeah. Okay, so I am Danny, and I am from the UK, and I rated The Love That Split the World 4 stars.
I am Iris. I'm from the Netherlands, and I rated the book 2.5 stars.
I'm Jamie from Canada, and I rated the book 4 stars.
Okay.
So, this video is the second in our series of BAMF reviews that we buddy read once a month and then discuss. And today we're talking about the 2016 debut young adult novel, The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry. This book is a genre-bending young adult novel that is classified as both contemporary and science fiction with hints of magical realism.
The summary for this book reads, Natalie Cleary must risk her future and leap blindly into the vast unknown for the chance to build a new world with the boy she loves. Natalie's last summer in her small Kentucky hometown is off to a magical start, until she starts seeing the wrong things. They're just momentary glimpses at first. Her front door is red instead of its usual green. There's a preschool where the garden store should be. But then her whole town disappears for hours, fading away into rolling hills and grazing buffalo, and Nat knows something isn't right. That's when she gets a visit from the kind but mysterious apparition she calls Grandmother, who tells her, "You have 3 months to save him." The next night, under the stadium lights of the high school football field, she meets a beautiful boy named Beau, and it's as if time just stops and nothing exists. Nothing except Natalie and Beau. Emily Henry's stunning debut novel is Friday Night Lights meets The Time Traveler's Wife and perfectly captures those bittersweet months after high school when we dream not only of the future but of all the roads and paths we've left untaken.
Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about what we collectively liked and what we collectively disliked. Although I think it's going to be more about like me and Jamie talking about what we liked, and Iris talking about what she didn't like. We're going to try and not spoil anything for you.
But no promises, because
we might get carried away.
Yeah.
And on our blog post, we're also going to have an international giveaway for 2 signed bookmarks for the book.
Ooh.
So, starting off, so what did we each like? Personally, I thought, maybe I'm alone in this, but I actually found Natalie to be really, really relatable. She has this feeling of not knowing who she is. She doesn't know if she is or she was the person she was because she was trying to fit in. So she's actually adopted and half Native American, and I think her dad was white, I think. And I know that Jamie could speak more on this, but she just felt like she was in this pretty like white town, small town, and she didn't know if, well, it was almost like she thought that she was trying to act white, and didn't know who she was or where she came from. And to me, that is something that I struggle with sometimes as well. And then there was also a moment where I really connected with her younger brother. And I'm not going to say when it was. I'm sure people can, when they read it, they might be able to pick up on it. But there was something that he said at one point where I was like, yeah, I've thought that too. The other thing that I liked about the book was that it made me feel really nostalgic about high school. I really miss high school. I know that a lot of people didn't like high school, but I really did. And like those nights hanging out with your friends. I lived in Japan at the time, and it got really hot in the summer, so you know, I don't know. It just made me feel kind of dreamy in that sense. And then finally, I think this is something that we all shared, was the mythology side of things. So there's this, there's stories that are fitted in along the timeline, or in the stories within the stories, that are creation myths from various Native American tribes and not tribes. There's some religious ones in there. Okay, so that was what I liked. Iris.
Okay, this is going to be a bit short for me, so yeah. I liked the writing, like the actual writing. It flowed really nicely and it felt comfortable to read, so that's a big plus. The Native American stories, like Danny already mentioned, they were really interesting, they were intriguing, and they were fun to read. And I thought the romance was okay. I wasn't really rooting for the couple, but it was okay. That's as far as my likes went. I'm sorry.
I kind of agree with Danny on most of it. I really liked Natalie. I had like a thread of tweets as I started reading about how Emily must have just written the book as me, because everything that Natalie was doing, I could see myself doing, especially having cereal with a hot guy. So that was
Cereal
really...
with beer, though.
Yeah, I'd been there, done that. So, yeah, it's not good, but, like, But, it was just really easy to connect with Natalie for me. But I also understand why, if you haven't had those kinds of thoughts and experiences, why you wouldn't necessarily connect with her. Otherwise, I really liked the genre bending. The genre bending of this one. I liked that the time travel was like easy to understand once it was actually explained at the end, because it can get kind of messy and confusing at sometimes if they're like, here's all this science, and I'm like, oh, I took like bio in grade 9. That's it. So it's nice to have something that's easy for everybody to really understand and relate to. I also really like the creation stories, and that the stories that were told foreshadowed what was going to happen in the actual story itself.
Okay, as the resident science person, I actually got confused with some of it. I was like, what?
I think if you read lots of time travel science fiction books, you kind of know the pattern of what they're going to say, that how time travel works. So I think it was like the base of what the majority of those was what happened in this book, which is why I was like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, it was
I was like,
though.
Okay. So, Iris, why don't you start us off on what you didn't like?
That's great. Throw me into the deep end. Okay,
Get it over and done with.
Yeah, the story itself, it was confusing. The pacing wasn't to my liking. It felt slow, and I really, I dragged my way through it. I didn't want to say this, but Jamie told me it was okay, and I felt like it was boring, so sorry. And my problem was that I felt really disconnected with the main character. Like, I couldn't connect with her, and this is, like, for me, this is a big problem, because I love character-driven stories. It just didn't work on like a lot of fronts, and that kind of frustrated me, but it's also why I didn't finish like the whole book. I just quit because I actually fell asleep.
See, I think I agree with you. If you don't connect with the main character, if you don't have those sorts of things, it isn't like an action-packed book, despite having some science fiction bits in it and having a time-sensitive deadline thingy. But it does have a very dreamy feel to it. There is, I mean, at times she thinks that she is actually dreaming. So if you don't sort of, you kind of have to sort of sink into that etherealness, a dream state with her, and to do that you need to start sort of dreaming yourself. You have to think back to how you felt at her age, I think. This is just me saying. I don't know, Jamie, do you agree?
Yeah, okay, so it's being marketed as Friday Night Lights meets The Time Traveler's Wife. So
I don't know either of those.
Like, I watched Friday Night Lights, right? It's like, it was huge here in my hometown when it started airing, because it was basically my high school. Like, everything that happens in this book, except for, like, the alternate universe things, happened to be in my actual high school career. Like, it's very much difficult if you don't live in this small town and have that small town feel, that you're not going to really understand why going to, like, this parade is a big deal, or why the homecoming is a big deal, or why Natalie dropping the dance team is a big deal in this small town. So I get it.
Well, that's a problem for me too, because like our high schools aren't the same as American and Canadian, obviously, high schools. It's just like sport is big, but it's not that big. And I get the whole small town vibe and all that because I grew up in one, but yeah, I kind of think that went wrong as well. That's where I kind of disconnected as well. And maybe it also has to do with like what I get from both of you is that you really you really liked high school, and
No. No.
like,
No.
I had a really not a pleasant high school experience. I was kind of like my head was all kind of messed up. I wasn't in a really good place, but my high school time sucked.
I peaked in high school.
Yeah, no, high school sucked. But, like, I still can understand why this is a big deal, because
Yeah.
it still happened in life.
Yeah. No, it's just I think that's part of it why it went wrong for me as well. Yeah. Kind of
See,
sucked.
my high school wasn't necessarily like the American one, and it was also it was a small school. There were 40-something kids in my class, so I had to sort of mesh some of what I experienced in high school. So sports were quite big because you had to, well, we had lots of American kids, and those American kids were really into their sports. It was like, but also when I lived in China, I went to an American school that was huge, and we had these huge playing fields and tons of kids, and sports again was really big. That kind of like meshed all my experiences together. So, and also, I've watched enough TV of like Smallville and things like that. I mean, let's just imagine Smallville. Actually, that kind of works, doesn't it?
It does actually kind of work, I'm not gonna lie.
Like, that's now so.
But yeah, I come from a really small town. My school was ranked number 3 for football in Canada, so like this really made sense to me. Like, this was like I was basically Natalie.
Okay, so like ignorant moment. I thought like only Americans played American football.
No, well, we played like we have Canadian football.
You have Canadian football?
Yeah, it's different rules. It's 3 downs instead of 4, and you kick from different places, and the ball's a little bit different sized. But like, it's still basically American football.
That's confusing.
What is a down?
Did you say what's a down?
Yeah.
That's like where they get to make their play. So like, you know, when the quarterback either passes the ball themselves or passes it off to somebody who runs the ball, that like after that play is finished, that ends a down.
Okay, like one day I'm going to have to sit down with you and watch football, so I'm not just working off like the 2-minute clips I pick up from TV shows.
Actually, if you watch like an episode of Friday Night Lights, you'll understand. Like it's there's a reason it's being marketed as Friday Night Lights.
Okay. I'll add that to my to-watch list, which is almost as high as my to-read list. Or long. As long. Okay, so, Jamie, what didn't you like?
I didn't like the romance at all. Like, at all. I liked them individually, but I did not like them together. I thought that it was, like, very much insta-love. Like, she met him and was like, I love this guy. And I did not like having Beau being described as hot every 15 seconds. Because I got it. Like, I got it. He's hot.
Oh gosh, that's perfect.
I don't actually know what he looks like, other than that he's, like, really tall and wide.
I pictured him as Taylor Risch, who plays Tim Riggins in Friday Night Lights, which, like, he's pretty hot too, but, like, I don't need to be told that he's hot every 15 seconds.
I kind of think that the romance for me was interesting because I didn't like the rest.
Okay, so here's my thought. When they were like, "Oh, there's not one of you in my town," I was like, "Oh my God, are they siblings? Like, is that what's gonna happen here?" And so I could not subscribe. As much as I'm okay with incest in fiction, I could not subscribe because I thought they were gonna be siblings.
Plot twist!
Wow. Oh, I forgot to mention, what I did like, okay, so I didn't mind the romance. It wasn't like the best thing ever, but I kind of liked, I did feel some of that sizzle. But anyway, what I did really like about the two characters, Natalie and Beau, was that they were very much flawed. Like, and Beau wasn't a stereotypical dreamboat boyfriend type thing from a book, because he repeated a year, I think, of high school, and he didn't really care that much about school, and
he was kind of an ass at sometimes.
yeah, and I mean, he played football, but he didn't really care about it, but at the same time, he was really into certain things, so he could, like, play the piano really well, and he could make beautiful furniture and stuff. So I don't know, like, you read books and you either have this, like, really, you'll get the hot guy that's also really good at school, or you get the rebel that goes around on a motorcycle wearing leather, and or you get and or you have, like, the you know, the dark prince, or all of these really
the dark prince,
they tend to be really intelligent and perfect in lots of ways. Idealized. Can I say idealized? Is that the right word to use there?
I get what you're trying to get at, but I do feel that in young adult, a lot of the guys, of the book boyfriends, it's as well, like, at first they just appear to be like a kind of jock person-ish, and then there's more to them, and I did feel like he was a bit stereotypical in that way.
See, I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say that like, everyone will have this, like, will be the stereotype. They'll be really clever, or they'll be really rebellious, or they'll be really into their sports. But the thing is, okay, yeah, he was a jock, but he didn't care.
But that's not good either. You should care about things,
yeah,
people that are watching this video.
But the thing is, like, he wasn't. He was flawed. That's what I'm getting at. He was being seen as worthy of her attention, even though he wasn't perfect.
And that's fine. Yes, people that are watching this, you can be flawed, but please still care about something. Please.
He cared
about her. That's it. Please care about something other than your significant other.
He cared about his woodworking, which I don't even remember what the furniture was. Apparently, it was really beautiful.
Don't remember it. That says a lot too. I'm sorry.
But it was the emphasis was on the fact that it was really well made and restored. Not exactly. I think it was called something, and I can't remember what the word is because it wasn't just a table. You'll get that. You'll be like, he made a table. He made a chair. No, this was like some...
Or like he made a birdhouse.
Oh my god.
I don't think I got that far into the book.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's...
I remember, but I don't remember what he made. I remember being like, oh, okay, well, he makes stuff with wood. And then I laughed. I'm sorry. I just, like, Bo's great, sure, whatevs, but the romance thing was like, I would have been more into this if it was, like, them trying to figure out why this was happening, just period and done, instead of, why is this happening, but I love you.
Why is it happening? But I love you.
It's meant to be. Okay, so what didn't I like? I don't know if you guys thought the same. Well, Iris didn't make it to the end, but Jamie, I don't know if you also found the end to be really abrupt and a little bit like kind of disappointing. The way it was done. It was kind of very artsy and like stylistic, and it's just like I wanted something really dramatic.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it could have been a little bit more, I don't know, action-y, or like something happening-y.
Or something happens after and you feel satisfied, but I didn't feel satisfied afterwards. And also, it was, whilst during the book you did have these creation myths and religious stories, they were told during the book as just stories. They were just stories that grandmother told her that might have clues on how to deal with what was going on. But the end, the way it was done, suddenly turned these cool stories into preaching.
I did expect that, actually, because from the beginning on, they say, like, the truth, the answer lies in the story. So, yeah, I did expect them to get, like, a...
I think maybe it was about the story that it ended up being. It wasn't the truth in the story. It wasn't one of the cool stories. It was religious, and yeah.
I agree.
Christian, basically.
I feel like even with the stories in there, as much as I liked them and how much they foreshadowed, I thought they foreshadowed a little bit too much. Like, I figured out the ending after, like, the first story was told. I was like, oh, okay, so this is what's gonna happen.
I was genuinely, like, they kept saying the truth was in the stories, and I was like, I can't see it, what is it?
Yeah, no, that first story I was like, oh, okay, now I know what's gonna happen. And then everything else just kind of was like, ah, yes, this is happening. This is happening.
Well, now you've said that, I kind of, like, obviously I haven't read the ending, but I can kind of guess it, actually.
You should read the last 20 pages, and you'll be like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Actually, don't.
That's not going to help her, though, because that's like, those last 20 pages are probably the worst in the book.
Oh, let's not do that, because that will bring down my rating, I think, so, yeah. Sorry.
We can, like, once we go off air, we can tell you what happened. But,
yeah,
like...
do that.
Okay, so, I mean, overall, I did enjoy the story. I just kind of wish it didn't end the way it did, and I kind of want to find, or someone, please, if you read The Limits of the World, can you please write, I don't care how it ended, per se, can you just write me some, like an epilogue, so that I can have my satisfaction?
Why don't you write the epilogue?
Dani loves her happy endings.
That's true. Dani's very much a happily ever after person.
I'm a fluffy person.
Overall, for me, I did really enjoy it. I liked a lot of it. It's just romance. I'm not really a romance person. I'm opposite of Danny on that end. So the romance for me was just a little much, to be honest. I think if it had been more gradual and progressive rather than just there, I would have liked it a lot more.
I'm
Like
really
the
somewhere in
romance.
between. I think I'm somewhere in between with the romance of you guys.
Our romance?
No, no. Like how much you like
Are we
the
having
romance,
a
obviously. Like you,
BAMF sandwich?
like Jamie didn't like the romance at all. Well, Danny she did, and I'm kind of in between. Danny, don't be creepy. Oh.
Yeah, no, I get it. You were like, I'm good with the characters being together, but not really. That's what Iris thinks about romance. He likes it in theory, but not in practice. Danny likes it in practice. I don't like it in theory, and Iris likes it in theory, but not in practice.
Oh.
Oh, I hope it's romantic.
I am not.
Oh, sad. So thank you everyone for watching. If you have any of your own thoughts, if you agreed or disagreed with any of us, hit us up in the comments on the blog post.
But we're also on Twitter as Books Are My Fandom without the O.
That's true. I
So
forgot about that.
Books Are My Fan.
I ran out of available space. Our next BAMF chat is going to be, I don't know why I'm holding this now, The Great Hunt by Wendy Higgins.
Yes, I'm listening to that as an audiobook, so you guys will get to hear about narrators.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I'm not pre-ordering an extra book and I get Audible credits every month, so.
Well, hopefully the narrator is good, because narrators can really make or break a story.
Yeah,
But,
that's
yeah.
true.
Fingers crossed for you. And that'll be our March video, so yeah, tune in. Also, quick shout out. If you are in the UK or Europe, actually worldwide, but mostly for people in the UK, you might want to check out Fairy Loot, which is a book subscription box, because, you know, the Americans and the Canadians, they get all the good stuff.
I get nothing. Nothing.
No, I know, I've seen Canadian ones.
No, the Canadian ones ship from the US, and I have to pay like $40 for shipping.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well then, sorry. If it helps, everything in the UK is expensive, even when you don't have to pay for shipping. But anyway, Fairy Loot is actually perfect for people like us because it's YA and mostly fantasy stuff. There are going to be some contemporaries and things thrown in, and it comes also with 4 bookish goodies. Okay, cool. See everyone next time for the Great
Hunt.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Ooh.